Steelers have had an aggressive offseason. They go out and sign Aaron Rodgers. They get DK Metcalf in a trade with Seattle. They get Jalen Ramsey in a trade with Miami, giving up Mika Fitzpatrick. They just made history with TJ Watt's extension, making him the highest paid non-quarterback. There's been a ton of moves made by this organization, but would it lead to postseason success, something that they haven't had since 2016? The Steelers have been the talk of the town because everyone wants to see Tomlin lose his job because they haven't had a playoff win in so long. Mike Tomlin has over-exceeded expectations. When Big Ben retired in 2021, Kenny Pickett was supposed to be the next big thing. That didn't really pan out. Interestingly, while doing my research, I was just intrigued to see if anyone was able to surpass Big Ben when it came to his final season in terms of how many passing yards he had. He threw for 3,740 passing yards. And since then, no quarterback has come even close to surpassing him in passing yards, which is alarming for several reasons. But when it comes to the Steelers, a team that prides itself on being physical and running the football, you can't really have success running when your passing game is non-existent at times. And I think that's why the Steelers haven't been a true contender. We go back to that time period where you had Big Ben, you had Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown. They were true contenders because they could run the football and they had a great passing game. In the post-Big Ben era, they haven't been able to have that balanced attack offensively. Rushing-wise, I thought they've had some great running backs. Najee Harris gets very undervalued at times. He was able to produce 1,000-yard rushing seasons, but that was behind an offensive line that was not particularly great and hasn't been great for a long time as well, which plays into why this offense has struggled to be an efficient and productive unit. So let's get into this current offensive team. You have Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback, who a lot of people are very skeptical about because is he still going to be able to produce? Well, from an on-the-field perspective, he didn't have a totally bad year. He finished off with 28 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. That's not bad. Not as productive as he was in the prime of his career. But for the Pittsburgh Steelers, if they were to get numbers like that, I think that definitely would help elevate their offense. Two main concerns when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, though, is one, and most importantly, how is he going to fit into the Pittsburgh Steelers culture? Mike Tomlin don't play that bullshit. I don't know if there's going to be any conflict there between him and Rodgers. Mike Tomlin is a professional, so I expect there not to be any public issues, that is, at least from his side of things. But can Aaron Rodgers fit into that culture that's been established in Pittsburgh? And then secondly, can he survive behind that Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line? The Jets last season did not have a great offensive line, and that led to him being sacked 40 times. Well, when it comes to Pittsburgh, it didn't get much better. If anything, it got worse. They gave up 9 more sacks compared to the Jets. There'll be some concern because Aaron Rodgers isn't as nimble as he used to be coming off of that Achilles injury, so he won't be able to be as mobile. But I believe the hope in Pittsburgh is that this is a group that's getting older because they have a ton of young players along the offensive line. I'm assuming that they're hoping that the unit can gel even more together, get another year under their belt in this Arthur Smith system, and hopefully that can lead to better pass protection, hopefully better run block win percentages, because I believe for the Steelers to get over the hump and finally win a postseason game, it's going to require them playing traditional Pittsburgh Steelers football. They must have a strong run game. They haven't had a top 10 run offense, and that's also including the season where they won a playoff game. For that running game to get established and for us to see that physicality that we're accustomed to seeing from the Steelers, there needs to be some production from not only the passing game, but the offensive line has to start gelling together. If those two components can bode well, I believe we'll see a deeper postseason run by the Steelers. And before I move to the defense, I almost forgot. I did mention DK at the beginning of the video. DK is the number 1 receiver. We'll see how that goes. I got much love for him. I thought he was great for us in Seattle. We'll see what the opportunity presents for itself out here in Pittsburgh. What I'm most concerned about is who's going to step up and take the reins of wide receiver 2. Calvin Austin, can he be that wide receiver 2? I believe at this point, teams are going to dare Aaron Rodgers to focus him rather than DK. Can't forget about Pat Freiermuth. He's a great tight end. I believe he might arguably benefit the most from having Aaron Rodgers. We should see him more involved in the passing game once again. And as for that running back room, if the Steelers want to have postseason success, it's going to stem from that running back core being able to be productive. They got the rookie out of Iowa, I believe Caleb Johnson, if I'm not mistaken. The scouting report on him says that he's more of that physical thumper back. I think that could bode well with Jalen Warren, who's the change of pace back. If those two can work in tandem in the Arthur Smith-led offense, that could bode well for this being a top 10 rushing attack. And for that defense, I expect nothing less than a top 10, maybe top 15 unit. They have the talent. They have the depth, too, in the secondary. You got Porter, you got Slay, you got Ramsey. Those are three of the most prominent corners in the game right now. I'm more intrigued to see how it's going to play out because I've heard rumors, I've saw some speculation that maybe Jalen Ramsey's going to play a little bit of the nickel / safety. That's been the theory. We'll see how it plays out in training camp and as we progress through the season. And then you got TJ Watt. He's finally got his extension, so he's going to be motivated to continue to prove why he's one of the best pass rushers in the game, potentially all time if he continues at this rate. I'm not worried about their defense. I know what to expect and what I'm going to get out of that unit. For the Steelers to have success and for them to win a postseason game, it's going to come down to whether or not their offensive unit can find some success in the passing game, including holding up in pass protection, which can ultimately help their running game be established as they have the talent there for there to be a top 10 rushing attack.